If I can ask you another question,
Sure.
and again, not softballing these, our current representative, that's Gail Lavielle, has raised concerns that a bill might come up in 2021 with stringent requirements for affordable housing. What is your position on this issue?
Yes, I've heard of Gail Lavielle. When it comes to housing, I don't think a one-size-fits-all approach works. Obviously, Connecticut is so diverse, and whenever I visit other parts, I realize, you know, we have rural communities, suburbs, small cities, big cities, and I can't imagine one housing approach that would work in all of those environments. Yet, at the same time, what I hear when I talk to people, whether it's phone banking, canvassing, just out in the community, I always hear people complaining about a lack of a diversified housing stock. I hear it from seniors who say they had to move out of the town they had called home because they couldn't find something. I hear it from college grads. I mean, I'm sure Will could tell you how hard a time he had finding an affordable place on a senator's budget. I hear it from other young people. I hear it from small business owners who are still in that startup phase. I also hear it from business owners who want their employees to live closer to their business. And I've also heard it from recently divorced people who want to stay close to their kids, but don't want to buy another 2-acre lot. And I think what's happening with your current representative that I hope to replace, and the Republican delegation at large, from the national level to the local level, all we hear is sort of this no, 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 like, oh, be afraid, be afraid. And I think there's some sort of middle ground between Trump's fear mongering that's outright and total state control, like we also hear about in Hartford now and again. What I can tell you is that every town in the 143rd has been grappling with this for years. Westport, for example, started an affordable housing committee 2 years ago, and they've made a lot of progress. Here in Wilton, it's consistent with your POCD, which I think came out in 2019. Your Board of Selectmen on Tuesday at the meeting, they were talking about it. They launched a housing committee in Norwalk. I sit on the zoning commission. It's certainly in our POCD, and we've been doing some transit-oriented development. So everyone is working on this, which speaks to how important it is. And I still think there is a role for the state to play. A couple of proposals I've heard are very helpful. Training, land use training. Almost all P&Z boards are volunteers. Board of Selectmen are people who might not be land use experts. So offering training to teach these people what might work, what might not work, what the pros and cons are, would be very useful. I've also heard about the state assembling a task force to put together sort of model guidelines for what this type of zoning might look like for towns to use and put through their own filter. I think that would be tremendously helpful. But at the end of the day, it feels like this is an issue that is not going away, as evidenced by the fact that people have already been talking about it. And I think this sort of alarmism does us a disservice. No, we don't want home values to go down, but we don't want to scare away new investment from maybe New Yorkers or next generation people who value diversity. We don't want to discourage increased tax revenue that we might see. Like, for example, by Wilton Center, there's talk about increasing density there to help small businesses and bring in additional tax revenue. So we want to keep all of that. And now I'm going on too long. But anyway, I think there is a small role for the states to play. I think towns want help talking this through and figuring it out. They just don't want mandates, and I agree with that.
Stephanie, that's just a wonderful response to a very complex issue. You know, one of my concerns of some of our neighboring Republicans or neighbor Republicans is is how binary their approach is to creating diversity in housing stock and including affordable housing, and that kind of virtual wall that I see people building around towns like Wilton makes it impossible to have productive and constructive conversations. So thank you so much.